So, what if all the good things in your life, money, happiness, even just a safe place to sleep, what if they were all just bait in some giant cosmic trap? It's a pretty dark thought, right? Well, that's the big idea we're going to unpack today from Selma Lagerlöf's classic short story, The Rat Trap.
And it all starts with this, a simple little wire trap. Our story begins with a guy who actually makes and sells these things for a living. But for him, this isn't just, a business. It's way more than that. It's a metaphor for how he sees everything.
Which brings us back to that big question. What if the entire world was a rat trap? I mean, that's the thought that's just rattling around in our main character's head all day long. He looks at everyone, everything, and all he sees is this one massive trap. And yeah, it's a super cynical way to live, but you kind of get it when you learn about the life he's had.
All right, so let's get into the philosophy of the rat trap. This is all about his really cynical view of what is, for him, a very cold world. To really get this story, you got to get inside this guy's head.
Okay, so here he is. Our main character is basically a vagabond, a peddler of these wire rat traps. I mean, look at the description. His clothes are rags, his cheeks are sunken, hunger is literally gleaming in his eyes. This is a guy who's just scraping by, selling his traps, begging, maybe a little petty thievery when he has to. It's a rough, lonely life, for sure.
And it's out of all this misery that he comes up with this, let's call it his rat trap theory. He decides the whole world, the whole thing exists for one reason, to set bait for people. All the stuff we want, riches, joy, a warm meal, a roof over your head, that's all just the cheese. And the second you take a bite, snap. The trap closes and you're caught.
But here's the really weird part. This super dark philosophy, it's not something that makes him sad. Actually, it's his favorite thing to think about. He gets this kind of twisted joy from imagining all the other people out there, people who have it better than him, getting caught in their own little traps. It's his one small comfort in a world that's been anything but kind to him.
So now we get to the bait and the trap. What happens when this cynical theory of his gets put to the test? Well, he's about to encounter a genuine act of kindness, but his brain can only process it one way, as bait.
So picture this. One night, he's looking for a place to crash, and he stumbles upon this little cottage. He's probably expecting to get yelled at, but instead, an old, lonely crofter welcomes him in. He gets supper, tobacco, and maybe the most important thing of all, company. For a guy who's used to people turning their backs on him, this is huge.
Okay, so the trap is set. The old man is so lonely and happy for the company that he's incredibly open. First, the kindness. Then, the bait is revealed. The old man shows him his savings, 30 kronor, and our peddler's cynical brain just clicks. This is the bait. So what does he do? The next morning, he steals it. He smashes the window, grabs the money, and takes off. In his mind, the trap is sprung, but he's the one who got away with the cheese.
Yeah, not so fast. He thinks he's clever, ducking into the forest to avoid being seen, but pretty soon he's completely lost. The woods just seem to close in around him like an impenetrable prison. And that's when it hits him, that chilling realization. He let himself be fooled. The money was the bait, and now he's the one who's caught in the trap.
So now we've got a case of mistaken kindness. He's trapped, he's lost, and he's about to stumble into a whole new situation. Is he an old comrade or just a man in a trap? Let's find out.
He's totally exhausted and manages to find refuge in an iron mill. And it's there, in the flickering light of the forge, that the owner spots him. But he doesn't see a dirty vagabond. He sees an old army buddy, Captain von Stala, who's clearly fallen on some hard times.
The Ironmaster is thrilled to see his old friend and insists he come to his manor house for Christmas. Well, for the peddler, who has 30 stolen kronor stuffed in his pocket, this is a nightmare. He thinks it's like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. It feels like another, bigger trap. So he just keeps saying no, absolutely not.
But the Ironmaster doesn't give up. He sends his daughter, Edla Wilmanson, and her approach is completely different. She isn't loud or demanding. She just speaks to him with this quiet compassion, promising him he'll be safe and can leave whenever he wants. And her gentleness somehow works. It cuts through his fear, and he agrees to go with her.
Okay, so fast forward to the next morning. The peddler's been cleaned up, he's had a bath, a shave, he's wearing the Ironmaster's nice clothes. But when he walks into the bright morning light, the Ironmaster gets a good look at him for the first time. And he realizes
This is not Captain von Stahl. Not even close.
And the Iron Master is furious. He's yelling about how this isn't honest and threatens to call the sheriff. But then Edla steps in, and this moment is so important. She says, "Look, I think he ought to stay with us today." She reminds her father that they promised this man Christmas peace, and they shouldn't chase away a human being they invited into their home. She completely overrules him.
And this leads us to the final act, the redemption of a captain. Edla's compassion, her choice to show kindness even when she knows the truth, well, it changes absolutely everything. So because of Edla's kindness, the peddler stays. And what does he do? He sleeps. That's it. He just sleeps and sleeps, safely and quietly, as if he hasn't had a peaceful rest in years. For one day, he's treated not like a problem, but like a person. He gets a real day of peace.
The next morning, Christmas Day, the Iron Master and Edla go to church, and while they're there, they hear the news: a rat trap seller robbed the old crofter. The Iron Master is like, "I told you so," and they rush home, totally convinced the guy has stolen all their silver. And when they get there, he's gone. But he didn't leave empty-handed.
Instead, what they find is a Christmas present, a little package left for Edla. And inside is a small, shoddily made rat trap.
But that's not all. Tucked inside that little rat trap are the 30 kroner, the stolen money. He's left it for Edla to return to the old man.
He also left a letter. And this is where it all comes together. He explains that he was like a rat about to be caught in the world's rat trap for good. But he wasn't, because he had been raised to captain. He says that by treating him with honor, she gave him the power to find his own honor and clear himself. Her kindness was literally the thing that let him escape.
And just look at how he signs it. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain von Stahl. He's not the tramp anymore. He has become the honorable man that Edla saw in him all along.
So, it all comes down to this question, doesn't it? Can a single act of understanding and love truly awaken the essential goodness in a human being? The story seems to say yes, that maybe the world is a rat trap, but genuine compassion, that's the one thing that can't be trapped. And maybe, just maybe, it's the only key that can ever really set someone free.